Research. Research approach refers to the overall plans and procedures that guide a study, covering everything from broad philosophical assumptions to specific methods of collecting, analyzing, and interpreting data. Developing this plan involves making several decisions, which don't necessarily follow a fixed sequence. The key decision is selecting the most suitable approach for investigating a particular topic. Approaches to research. Creswell and Creswell, 2018. 1. Quantitative 2. Qualitative 3. Mixed methods. Quantitative is an approach to test objective theories by exploring the relationships between variables. These variables are usually measured using tools that produce numerical data, which can then be analyzed through statistical techniques. This research approach is based on certain assumptions, such as using deductive reasoning to test theories, minimizing bias, accounting for alternative explanations, and ensuring that results can be generalized and replicated. Qualitative is an approach used to explore and understand the meanings that individuals or groups assign to social or human issues. This approach involves flexible and evolving questions and methods, with data often gathered in the participants' natural environment. The analysis is typically conducted inductively, moving from specific observations to broader themes, and the researcher interprets the significance of the data. This type of inquiry emphasizes an inductive approach, values personal perspectives, and highlights the complexity of the situation being studied. Mixed methods research is a strategy that involves gathering both quantitative and qualitative data, combining these two types of information, and applying specific research designs that may be guided by philosophical beliefs and theoretical models. The central idea behind this approach is that integrating both forms of data can offer deeper insights than either method alone. Research design. Creswell and Creswell, 2018. It is the specific type of inquiry used within qualitative, quantitative, and mixed methods approaches. They offer clear guidance on how to carry out the procedures in a research study. These designs are sometimes referred to as strategies of inquiry, as noted by Denzin and Lincoln, 2011. Quantitative research design. Experimental. Non-experimental. Causal, comparative, and correlational. The goal of experimental research is to identify cause and effect relationships. This allows researchers to observe the impact of deliberately changing one or more variables under controlled conditions. In this type of study, the researcher manipulates the independent variable by actively intervening, then observes the outcomes. The defining feature of experimental research is this manipulation or intervention, which helps establish causal links. In non-experimental research, the researcher does not manipulate the independent variable or randomly assign participants to groups. Because of the absence of these elements, the ability to draw strong cause and effect conclusions is limited. When important causal research questions need to be answered and an experiment cannot be done, research must still be conducted. Causal comparative research is a form of non-experimental study where the researcher examines the relationship between one or more categorical independent variables and one or more quantitative dependent variables. Typically, this involves comparing the average scores of different groups, such as males versus females, or public versus private school teachers, on a dependent variable to see if a relationship exists. Since the independent variable is categorical, the focus is on identifying differences between group outcomes rather than manipulating variables. Correlational research is a non-experimental method where the researcher examines the relationship between one or more quantitative independent variables and one or more quantitative dependent variables. Unlike causal comparative research, both the independent and dependent variables in correlational studies are numerical. There is no manipulation involved. Instead, the focus is on identifying patterns or associations between variables based on their measured values. Qualitative research design. Narrative research is a qualitative design rooted in the humanities, where the researcher explores individuals' lives by collecting personal stories. These stories are often reorganized into a chronological narrative by the researcher. In many cases, the final narrative blends the participants' experiences with the researcher's perspective, resulting in a collaborative account of the individual's life journey. Reisman, 2008. Clandinin and Connolly, 2000. Phenomenological research is a qualitative design rooted in philosophy and psychology, where the researcher explores and describes individuals' lived experiences related to a specific phenomenon. The goal is to uncover the essence of these experiences shared by multiple participants who have encountered the same phenomenon. This approach is deeply philosophical and typically involves conducting in-depth interviews to gather rich descriptive data. Georgi, 2009. Mustakas, 1994. Grounded theory is a qualitative research design originating from sociology, where the researcher develops a broad, abstract theory about a process, action, or interaction based on participants' perspectives. This approach involves multiple stages of data collection and focuses on refining and connecting categories of information to build the theory. The theory emerges directly from the data, making it deeply rooted in the participants' experiences. Sharmaz, 2006, Corbin and Strauss, 2007-2015. Ethnography is a qualitative research design rooted in anthropology and sociology, where the researcher examines the shared behaviors, language, and practices of a well-defined cultural group within their natural environment over an extended period. Data is typically gathered through direct observation and interviews, allowing for a deep understanding of the group's social patterns. Case study research is a qualitative design used across various disciplines, particularly in evaluation, where the researcher conducts an in-depth investigation of a specific case. This case could be a program, event, activity, process, or one or more individuals. Case studies are defined by clear boundaries in terms of time and activity, and researchers gather rich, detailed data through multiple methods over an extended period. Mixed methods research design. Convergent mixed methods is a research design where the researcher collects both quantitative and qualitative data simultaneously and then merges the results to gain a fuller understanding of the research problem. The integration of both data types occurs during the interpretation phase, allowing for a comprehensive analysis. If the findings from the two methods conflict or don't align, the researcher investigates these discrepancies further to explain or resolve them. Explanatory sequential mixed methods is a research design where the study begins with quantitative data collection and analysis. The findings from this phase are then explored in greater depth through a follow-up qualitative phase. It's called explanatory because the qualitative data helps clarify and expand on the quantitative results, and sequential because the two phases occur one after the other. This design is commonly used in disciplines that emphasize quantitative research, but it can be challenging due to issues like identifying which quantitative results to explore further and managing differences in sample sizes between the two phases. Exploratory sequential mixed methods is a research design that begins with a qualitative phase where the researcher gathers and analyzes participants' perspectives. The insights from this phase are then used to inform a subsequent quantitative phase. This might involve developing a new instrument tailored to the study population, selecting appropriate tools for the quantitative phase, designing an intervention, or identifying key variables for further investigation. The main challenges of this design include determining which qualitative findings to carry forward and selecting suitable samples for both phases. References: Creswell, J.W. and Creswell, J.D., 2018. Research Design, Qualitative, Quantitative, and Mixed Methods Approaches, 5th ed. Sage Publications, Creswell, J.W., 2014. Research Design, Qualitative, Quantitative, and Mixed Methods Approaches, 4th ed. Sage Publications. Johnson, R.B., and Christensen, L., 2019. Educational Research, Quantitative, Qualitative, and Mixed Approaches, 7th ed. Sage Publications.